Going to college today is a big investment. Ashland Oil knows this.
We have a fine turnout of better than 12,000 fans tonight here at the WVU Coliseum in Morgantown for the 97th meeting between the Penn State Nittany Lions and the West Virginia Mountaineers. In that long series, West Virginia's won 50 times, Penn State has won 46. Hello again, everyone. I'm Jack Fleming, along with Woody O'Hare and Jay Jacobs. We'll describe the action in tonight's West Virginia-Penn State return meeting. Back on December 8th at University Park, the two played a great game. Penn State won at 68-66 in overtime. Tonight, the Mountaineers seek revenge. They come in with a record of 6-6. The Lions are 8-7. We'll be back to look at the starting lineups right after this.
Today, more than ever, you need someone you can count on.
Coal, the nation's answer to our energy problems, is a complex industry. So complex, it requires specialists in every phase of operations. Specialists in coal production to specialists in insurance protection. Flat Top Insurance Agency offers the coal industry more coal insurance expertise than anyone else in the business.
It's Flat Top Insurance for your security.
It's the sports special of the year, Friday night at 7:30, when TV 53 presents Super Bowl 14, the final Sunday. This is Stan Savran inviting you to join Tom Brookshire and John Madden as they take an in-depth look at our champion Steelers. You'll see interviews with your favorite stars and a complete recap of both the AFC and NFC playoffs. Don't miss this exciting sports special, Friday night at 7:30. TV 53 presents Super Bowl 14, the final Sunday.
Good evening. This is Jay Jacobs at courtside at the Coliseum. And now we'll take it to Frank Stevens for the starting lineups.
The starting lineups are being introduced for tonight's basketball game. Let's take a look at them. First for the Penn State Nittany Lions. Rich Federer, a 6'7" freshman, will be starting at forward, along with Mike Lang, 6'8" freshman. In the center spot, Frank Brickowski, a 6'9" junior. Craig Buffy will be at one guard, a 6'3" sophomore. And at the other guard, a surprise starter, Tommy Wilkinson, for tonight's ball game, a 6'1" senior from Lynbrook, New York. Well, the gold and blue carpet has been rolled out. The West Virginia Mountaineers are ready to hit the floor. Here's a starting forward from Parkersburg, West Virginia, 6'8", Noah Moore. His running mate, Greg Nance. Nance from Washington, D.C., the team's second leading scorer at 14'6". Bill Collins at center, 6'9", from Palos Heights, Illinois. The guards and co-captains, first Joe Frizz, 6'2", averaging 8 points a game from Coraopolis High School, Moon Area High School. And Rose Moore, a 6'1" senior, averaging 18.8 from Mount Vernon, New York. Moore leading the Mountaineers in scoring. The Penn State Nittany Lions, Jay Jacobs, come into tonight's ball game with an 8-7 record. And a feather in their cap was Saturday when they defeated Duquesne on their floor at University Park, and certainly gave notice that Penn State's basketball program is coming right along, just as Dick Harder had hoped.
Well, it is, Woody, and I'll tell you, you're going to see a contrast in styles here tonight, I'm sure. I think Penn State will come out and be deliberate. West Virginia's going to want to play an up-tempo basketball game. I think the Mountaineers, the character of this club has really changed over the last month. Played 3 fine basketball games last week. They're getting scoring out of the backcourt, Lowe's Moore, scoring out front, Greg Nance, and leadership out of Joe Frizz, and Gil Catlett mixing those other two positions with balanced scoring, trying to get as much as he can out of that one forward and center spot.
Well, we saw the officials for tonight's game a moment ago, Mike Serco and Phil Davidson, both from the Eastern 8. And there was a time when West Virginia and Penn State were Eastern 8 rivals, but no more. The Lions have withdrawn from the league.
Well, they've elected to pull out of the league, but the rivalry you can see by the fans, and Gil Catlett's happy to see the folks back in school and here with over 12,000 people here supporting the Mountaineers.
There's Mike Serco. Right now, the one official Bill Davidson is moving one of our cameras back off the floor. I don't know how we're going to pull it off tonight without a camera or two somewhere. West Virginia, as you said, quite spurred by the big performance over Villanova on Saturday. And look what the Wildcats almost did last night to Notre Dame.
That was a great ball game, and it just goes to show you this league across the country, these teams are so balanced, Woody.
Here's Brakowski against Nance. And the ball is taken by Wilkinson of Penn State. Down in the corner, Buffy puts one up very quickly. And Lowe's Moore comes down with a rebound. The Eastern 8 Player of the Week last week has a shot rejected and a foul call.
Well, that time, Rich Fetters, Woody, got down real quick. He took the shot at one end, got back down real quickly on defense. But you can see the Mountaineers are going to try to push it up and down the floor.
And you can see this is going to be a very physical basketball game. Personal charge to Tom Wilkinson. First of the ball game, and Lowe's Moore. Let me give you some stats. In 3 games, 79 points, 27 rebounds, 14 assists, 7 steals, 5 blocked shots. This young man has been on a hot streak.
And you've done your homework. Well, I'll tell you, he's played great basketball, but a lot of other guys contributed, too, to this club.
He's got them both. West Virginia takes an early 2-0 lead, and the pressure in the backcourt. Wilkinson. Back to Wilkinson, and the Mountaineers set up. The feeling is tonight if West Virginia can go on top, according to Gail Catlin, and then we can dictate the flow of this game, we've got a good shot at it. But if Penn State gets on top, they're awfully tough to beat.
They sure are with that deliberate style play, and we got a turnover there, Woody. The Mountaineers are going to try to force the action, make Penn State play the full 94 feet out there, and hopefully they won't be able to get into that deliberate game.
52, Mike Lang walking with the ball, and West Virginia comes down with it. Joe Frizz, Moon Area High School, Coraopolis, Pennsylvania. Here's Moore. His shot is no good. Penn State down with a rebound. Mike Lang, one of the young men instrumental in beating us in that overtime game at Penn State back on the 8th of December. Long jumper. It's good by Lang, or Buffy. And very quickly gives us our first tie. First tie of the ball game, 2-2. Joe Frizz under to Greg Nance. This young man in a year's time has turned from a pussycat to a tiger. He is really playing some basketball.
Well, he's got a great deal of confidence. Gail Catlin put him out there and said, go ahead and play, Greg, and it's really paid off for him. He's very tough inside, Woody. You've got to front him down inside. If he gets it in low, he's just too tough to stop.
Penn State looking for an opening. Wilkinson from downtown. And I don't think the Mountaineers are going to let him do that for too long.
No, of course, Gail Catlin will change defenses, but Dick Harder won't sit either. This will be a great chess game out here tonight between two fine coaches.
Noah Moore from Parkersburg, number 25. That's Joe Frizz with the ball. Frizz guarded closely by Buffy. Now to Lowe's Moore. Wilkinson after the basketball. And the Lions are playing some pretty stiff defense.
Well, they are. Wilkinson's playing Lowe's Moore tough, but a lot of other people are moving out there, and that's what they haven't been getting in the early part of the season. Mountaineers are moving real well, and they're being very patient out there. They're going to wait for the good shot.
Remember, these two met earlier, and it was Penn State 68-66. Lowe's Moore, and they let him do it one-on-one.
But that was great defense that time. It's just very difficult to stop. He had to double pump that time. He got it in, and he shoots a very tough ball. But as you said earlier, Woody, he's a very hot offensive player right now.
Time and again this season, we've seen Gail Catlin let the rest of the team back off and let Moore go at it one-on-one, and there are very few people who can handle him in that situation. Underneath the pass goes. The shot is up and in. A good shot by Frank Brakowski, the big center. And we've got a tie for the third time at 6-6.
Right now, Woody, Penn State's using the middle of that 3-2 zone or 1-2 zone of West Virginia's to poke it into the middle, and that's where the openings are.
Bill Collins attempts a shot, has it batted away by Brakowski, and Craig Buffy gets it down into the corner to Wilkinson. West Virginia with 2 men up off the bench. Ball goes out of bounds, and it goes out to West Virginia. Into the ball game now. Number 35, Dennis Hosey from Western Beaver High School. And number 32, Donnie Gibson from Aliquippa High School. Mountaineers with a couple of new forwards in there now. Joe Frizz. Shot is rejected. And a call on Frizz for the charge. That does not meet with a great deal of favor from this highly partisan West Virginia crowd. Well, the first foul of the night comes against the Mountaineers. It's against Joe Frizz and will negate 2 points. We'll pause for just a moment to score. Penn State 6, West Virginia 6.
Reliable parts are a must
For your car, truck, or bus.
Name brands you can trust.
Parts Plus.
We know just how it feels
To be stuck without your wheels.
see the people you can trust.
Parts Plus.
Parts Plus. Name brands you can trust. Parts Plus. Parts Plus.
Find out how incoming presidents quickly learn to deal and make deals with Congress. Learn about the passion Wallace Warfield Simpson, the Duchess of Windsor, had for the television show What's My Line. Read how the ratings race is causing some feathers to fly at one network. And don't miss a special sports report on the trench warfare between the offensive and defensive lines in the Super Bowls. Interesting reading in the new issue of TV Guide.
Well, Jay Jacobs, just ahead of the break, we had a very unfortunate situation of Frizz driving the baseline, hitting on 2 points. Not only did the 2 points not count, but he was charged with a personal foul for driving into his man, a charging call. Penn State with a chance here to make up some points.
And West Virginia pressing all over Woody, and this is a diamond press that they're using. Good pressure at half court in the double team, just trying to make Penn State set up a little bit farther out.
Here's Brykowski, and he's walking with the ball. A little hop, skip, and a jump by Brykowski. Just one too many, I think.
Well, he's got 3 big kids in that lineup. Woody, he wants to make them come all the way down the floor as we take a look at Dick Harder along the sideline calling it out. Gibson and Hosey both in the ball game, and of course this has been 2 early substitutions Gail Catlin's gone with.
There's Greg Nance really working for his shot. Nance with a pair of fielders now. Young man from Dunbar High School, all metropolitan from Washington, D.C. Penn State, Brykowski has his 2.
Penn State's not dribbling the ball against the West Virginia pressure. They're passing it and getting it down inside very quickly before the Mountaineers can get back. But it has to take its toll as you want to spread out the Penn State offense.
One of the auxiliary scoreboards has gone crazy here, and it shows 188 to 188. That's some pretty good scoring. Joe Frizz.
Excellent passing around the defense that time, and Frizz squared up on the basket very nicely and followed through and hit the jumper.
Now this young man, number 21, Frizz, is instrumental to this ball club, much more than what you see in that scoring column. He's a true leader.
Sure is.
Penn State. It's Rich Fetter, the freshman, who comes in leading this team in scoring with an 11-point average. And Fetter ties it up for the 5th time tonight at 10 points, 10-10. 15 minutes to go, first half. Here's Nance again. Shot tapped around, out of bounds. It'll be Penn State's ball. Difficult to see, Jay, looking down from our up camera. But here on floor level, you can actually see how giant these Penn State ball players are. And they do have overall good size.
Yes, they do. And, of course, the one weakness they might have is their quickness with these 3 big. I think Gail Catlett wants to try to take advantage of that by trying to run on them and press them as much as possible.
Okay, Craig Buffy outside with the ball. Gives to Tommy Wilkinson of the Lions. He's a senior from Lynbrook, New York.
Excuse me. West Virginia's in that diamond and 2 defense now.
Brykowski, or rather, Buffy misses the shot. But Mike Lang goes up with it. West Virginia can't hit on the other end of the floor, and Fetter comes out with a rebound. So the Lions lead 12-10, and a chance to put some more. shot by Fetter is no good. Off the glass, out of bounds, and Penn State still has possession of the ball.
Well, through the first 7 minutes, Woody, West Virginia's been unable to get very many fast breaks because Penn State has been hitting most of the shots, being very patient to get either off West Virginia's press.
Here's Brakowski with a half hook, no good. They go for the rebound. Lang has it wrestled away by Greg Nance. And the official, I think, will indicate Penn State hit the baseline with the ball. So the Mountaineers will bring it up. Penn State leading 12 to 10. We've got 13:40 to go first half. Dennis Jose. And Brakowski comes out with a rebound. Craig Buffy to Wilkinson. He can fire from long range. This one does not go. Mike Lang with a rebound. And 8 or 10 steps underneath. But they'll give him the 2. That looks more like walking than the time they called it on him.
Well, Woody, right now, out of that diamond and 2 defense that the Mountaineers are in, Penn State's able to get some second shots off of it. That's what's hurt the Mountaineers. And, of course, another thing Penn State's been able to do is silence our crowd here tonight. And I'm sure the up-tempo game, a couple fast breaks, and West Virginia's going to have to try to get their crowd into this basketball game.
Mike Lang with a chance for the three-point play. It does not go. Lang gets the tap out. West Virginia not on the boards tonight early on. Buffy and Wilkinson back and forth out front as the Mountaineers throw up that defense again. Here's Fetter in the corner, not afraid to shoot.
Well, Rich Fetter's hit 2, 1 from each corner, and the Mountaineers now, to force anything down here, they want to take their time and get the good shot. Lowe's Moore on a drive.
Moore does not hit, and the ball goes out of bounds off Penn State. The ball off the hands of Mike Lang, and West Virginia will get another try. The Lions with the biggest lead of the night so far at 16 to 10. We've got 12:55 to go. Mike Serco, the official, hands the ball to Noah Moore, and West Virginia brings it in. Out long to Lowe's Moore.
Greg Jones in the ball game. Woody, we'll see if Gil Catlett probably put him in to get some shooting, get some movement out there, try to get this club going.
There was a shot from Jones. The freshman from Youngstown, Ohio, did not fall. 21 is Tommy Wilkinson, the senior guard from Penn State. 16-10 Penn State with 12.5 minutes to go in the first half. Penn State now, just like West Virginia a moment ago, looking for an opening, but they're from outside again. Nance gets the rebound. Gale Catlett wants them to run with the ball. Noah Moore, fake, the shot is up, on the rim, does not fall. Nance for the rebound, he's got it. What a super move by Greg Nance.
And he was falling away on that. He also was blocked out, but he reached up over, got the ball, and then fadeaway jump shot. Maybe this will spark the Mountaineers.
A walking violation against Brakowski of Penn State, and another Nittany Lion turnover. So West Virginia finding themselves down by 4 at 16 to 12. Will have an opportunity now to try to get back a little closer. Penn State has been guilty of numerous turnovers here in the first half, and that 4-point lead could be much, much more. We've got a timeout with a score. Penn State 16, West Virginia 12. We'll be back in a moment.
For you parents who don't speak Klingonese, he's saying, people of Earth, unite and bring your kids to McDonald's for a Star Trek meal. That's a regular hamburger, fries, soft drink, a McDonald and cookie sampler, and a Star Trek prize. Oh, yes, 5 different boxes based on Star Trek the Motion Picture. Action scenes, jokes, games. He says, take it from a father who knows. His kids love him. McDonald's Star Trek meal available for your kids now.
Attention beer drinkers, if you're drinking beer out of a can, stop. You're throwing your money away. You should have a Beermeister Home Draft Beer Bar. Here's why. A can of beer costs around 30 cents. A glass of draft from your beer bar costs 10 cents. You'll save over 50%. Half the fun of drinking beer is drawing it fresh and cold, right from the tap, and saving money at the same time. We'd like the chance to show you all that Beermeister can offer you. Call for a free demonstration. You're under no obligation.
Call 391-3550. That's 391-3550. Call now.
Well, the Mountaineers will be in the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh on Saturday afternoon against the Duquesne Dukes. Duquesne tonight against Penn or against Pitt. So what a couple of games back-to-back for Duquesne and West Virginia.
Should be a good one. I saw Pitt against Maryland Saturday night. An excellent basketball game. Pitt played real well.
Here's Greg Nance for the Mountaineers, the leading scorer with 6 points. Collins with a return and a foul call.
Well, that time, Woody, Phil Collins got an excellent offensive rebounding position right in front of the hoop. Once he got it, he knew he was in control, went up with his body and laid it back up against the defensive man and drew the foul.
Gary Korkowski, new to the lineup, 45. He's a 6'7", 224-pound senior from Solon, Ohio. Picks up the personal. Phil Collins for West Virginia at the line. And Phil hasn't been around too long. He has been disqualified in 10 games already this season. Been averaging something like a foul every 3 minutes.
I tell you, Woody, this guy has a lot of credentials with him, and I just don't want to give up on the kid because I think he has a lot of potential, and he's going to help the Mountaineers before his career's through here in West Virginia.
Well, the Lions' 6-point lead now down to 3. It's 16-13 with 11.5 minutes to go in the first half.
Got the 2 freshman guards in there now, Woody, McCoy and Jones operating the backcourt, and sure, Gale Catlett giving Lowe's more rest, and he has been off on that jumper, and he'll come back, and hoping Gale can get him hot.
Penn State comes up off the bench with Mike Edelman. He'll be coming in shortly for one of the guard spots. West Virginia getting a hand now for their defensive play. The Lions can't find a weakness in it right now.
Well, they've been able to cut off those splits in there. The opening is still in the middle, but the Mountaineers are not showing it like they were in the early moments.
I'm sure Dick Harder told them during the timeout that they couldn't keep hitting outside like they had been, but there you go. Rich Fetter does it again. West Virginia's Phil Collins, and a whistle comes before the shot. The 2 points will not count. And again, Gary Korkowski picks up the personal, his second.
Well, that motion offense, the Mountaineers, a lot of screens down inside, and of course they screen in deep, Woody, and that allows these people to get open.
3 team fouls against Penn State, 2 West Virginia. Here's Noah looking to get the ball in, and he could not get it in time. The ball will go over to Penn State. Unable to get the ball in within the 5-second time frame. And the press in the backcourt. Batted away by Jones. This is Nance, 2 points.
All right, Jones sets that one up. Woody, no doubt about it. Quick hands in there. Gets it to Nance. Used the jumper off the board.
And they're fighting again for the ball. This one will probably be a jump ball. Out of bounds. West Virginia basketball.
Right, and this is what the Mountaineers wanted, and this is what you need to do. You got to play yourself back into the ball game. That's why got a timeout here called by Penn State, Woody. But the Mountaineers are now getting the crowd back into the game.
Well, if you remember, a year ago when we did a ball game at Penn State, West Virginia simply tore the ball game apart with a ferocious press, a full court press, and that probably is what they're trying to do here tonight.
Well, I'm sure, of course, the pressure that the Mountaineers use is not aggressively. When they start opening a ball game, they try to spread you out all over the floor. Now I think you have to press some in basketball to get yourself going. And the Mountaineers were not moving. As we take a look at the Penn State huddle there, the Mountaineers were not moving in the early part of this ball game, and that's what pressure-type defenses you do. And of course, you send the 2 guards in there, as Gale Catlett did. It sparks them. They want to play. They're hungry to play and to get in there and become aggressive and set up a couple steals.
The young man you've heard talked about many times is Junior Taylor in the center of your screen. He's a self-designated cheerleader, one-time Mountaineer mascot here in West Virginia, and he's made his appearance on the floor. And Jay, I tell you, Gale Catlett's very happy to have the students back from the holiday break.
Well, I mentioned earlier, they've been playing about the last 3.5 weeks in front of either visiting crowds or crowds where students have been away from school, and it's tough to win on the road anyway, and at home you've got to have that crowd behind you. But the Mountaineer fans have supported this club real well. Gale Catlett's happy.
Here's West Virginia with a turnover opportunity. It comes into McCoy and back out to Greg Jones. West Virginia trailing Penn State 18-15. They had trailed by as much as 6 points. earlier in the game. Phil Collins with a shot, a whistle, and Collins is called for walking. A very rough and tumble night underneath tonight, Jay.
Well, once he gets that ball inside, he brought the basketball down, and that got him in trouble, Woody.
Here's the double team. A pass almost got away from Korkowski. He walked with the ball, and West Virginia will bring it down.
Well, the quickness in the backcourt with Jones and McCoy have set their quickness up. They're not making the steals, but they're certainly setting up the pressure and allowing the steals to be made.
Very quickly now, Korkowski comes out, Brickowski goes in, and the shot is good by Greg Jones. Penn State had Edelman hit the floor. He'll get the Academy Award for that. Dick Harder is up on one of the officials at center floor. Gail Catlett is coming down to see what's happening. Penn State, meanwhile, waiting on the end line to bring the ball in. Finally, they get it into Brickowski, and a foul called on Noah Moore, number 25, who came sliding through your screen. Moore picks up the personal. That's team foul number 3. Both teams are even in that department. For Moore, his first personal of the night. Against the press, Penn State, Brickowski to Wilkinson. They're safely across the timeline. Here's Mike Lang. He fakes and draws himself into another walking violation. He's had 3 times that way tonight.
And that's the 4th time Penn State's had possession. Woody has not gotten a shot. Excellent defense, pressure defense by the Mountaineers.
Okay, the crowd comes to life now. This is Diego McCoy to Collins. Collins against Brickowski, now double team. To Moore, back outside to Greg Jones. West Virginia trailing by 1. Here's Noah Moore. The shot does not fall. Lang comes down with a rebound, and a foul called on Greg Nance of West Virginia, number 24.
Well, that time Lang got an inside position, an excellent rebounding position, and Nance went up and over.
Noah Moore comes out of the game, number 33. Russell Todd, the freshman from North Fork, is into the game now for West Virginia.
Well, Gil Catlett's showing early on confidence in 3 freshmen there, Woody, and I think this is a good sign that he's going to play these guys.
Here's Fetter into Brickowski, across to Wilkinson, and they try to pass through the West Virginia press. They do so into Lang. And we've got an ankle injury, a turned ankle here at the center of the floor as Tommy Wilkinson, his ankle collapsed. He came out of the bounds right in front of our broadcast position. He's grabbing his ankle, and I know that he appears on your screen now to be in a great deal of pain. The coaches and trainers immediately came off the Penn State bench. A very unfortunate thing for Wilkinson and Penn State, Jay.
Well, Woody, as I viewed that, he was really by himself when he turned it. He had made a pass and it cut across diagonally and just really turned that ankle. It must tell me that somewhere along the line this season, he's had some serious ankle problems, and because to just heel right there, he looks to be in very, very heavy pain at this time, and hopefully the trainer will get right on it with some ice.
Well, the ankle gives out on number 21, Tommy Wilkinson. He'll be taken to the training area down to the far end of the Penn State bench. Young man who's played some good basketball for Dick Harder, and certainly a surprise starter here tonight, but a stabilizing force on the Penn State ball club. The Lions will inbound now. It was an official's timeout. Craig Buffy lobs into the backcourt. Brickowski can't find anybody. He still looks, finally gets the ball up floor, and it's taken by Fetter. Fetter to Brickowski. Underneath it goes to Edelman. He's in some tall trees. A whistle and a 3-second violation.
You know, Mike Edelman's an excellent shooter. That time he got down inside, he just didn't seem to have the confidence to put it back up. I don't know if it was intimidation or not, Woody, but he was looking to pass that ball back outside.
West Virginia still 1 point down at 18-17, and Russell Todd is called for walking. So early in the ball game, through this first quarter at least, what would be comparable to the first quarter, we've seen a lot of turnovers.
But that'll settle down. I'm sure we played about 12 minutes of the basketball game. I think the turnovers by Penn State being set up by the Mountaineers' pressure defense.
Okay, it's into the front court. Ball tapped out of bounds by McCoy of West Virginia, and Penn State will put it in play. The Mountaineers with their speed guys in there now. Diego McCoy, Greg Jones, And Russell Todd, who has a great deal of mobility, having overcome that foot injury. Here's the ball out of bounds off Brakowski's hands, and West Virginia will bring it up floor.
Well, right now, I'll tell you what, when you're not going well offensively and the Mountaineers are, you've got to stick in there and play good, tough defense until that offense comes around, because that keeps you in the basketball game. And there's no doubt now, with Lozemore coming back in, that they'll hope to pick up offensively, because their shooting has been a little off, but their defense has been super here, keeping them in the game.
Okay, McCoy goes under to Collins, and Collins is fouled. On Brakowski, his first personal, and it's the 4th team foul against Penn State. Both teams again even in the personal foul department at 4 apiece.
I think right now, Woody, that West Virginia's won the battle tempo, because I think Penn State is trying to play their type of game, which I'm sure they don't want to play. They're looking for the good shot, but right now it's been a game of up-tempo with the Mountaineers.
Very wisely, Russell Todd could not find anyone open, so he called a timeout. The Mountaineers take a timeout in this ball game with 8:22 to play. The score, Penn State 18, West Virginia 17.
It's so wonderful to make a child's dream come true. It's a moment of love, a joyous sensation. Ooh, come on and have a Pepsi day. Come on and taste the Pepsi way. Come on and have a Pepsi day.
For you parents who don't speak Klingonese, he's saying, people of Earth, unite and bring your kids to McDonald's for a Star Trek meal. That's a regular hamburger, fries, soft drink, a McDonald and cookie sampler, and a Star Trek prize. Oh, yes, 5 different boxes based on Star Trek the Motion Picture. Action scenes, jokes, games. He says, take it from a father who knows. His kids love him. McDonald's Star Trek meal available for your kids now.
Well, there hasn't been a great deal of scoring here in Morgantown tonight. 18-17, Penn State in the lead. But the Lions are not known to be, because of the way they play basketball, a high-scoring ball club. West Virginia, as you said, Jay, has been able to take over the momentum of this ball game and been able to dictate late.
Well, the pressure defense has forced Penn State to play the full court, what they want to do, but the Mountaineers right now are not hitting their shots.
The shot by Russell Todd, no good. The ball tapped out of bounds by the Lions. And Todd looks for someone to come into. His pass is stolen away by Better. Out to Edelman, and the race begins. A 1-point ball game at the 8-minute mark. Is Penn State 18-17 over West Virginia. Brakowski. They bring their big men outside now. Well, here's Buffy to Edelman from way out. Lozemore with a one-hand grab. Down to McCoy. Let's see what he can do. Does not make it an air ball. Batted around by the Nittany Lions big man, Brakowski, to Lang. And now Edelman comes up floor with the ball.
Well, that stopped the shot that I'm sure Gil Catlett wanted Diego McCoy to take. There were 2 defenders of Penn State back, made it very difficult. He took a shot from the corner, which is not what you'd be looking for off the transition.
Greg Nance picks up his second foul, number 24 from West Virginia. And you're right, Jay, there was no help down floor, and McCoy should have pivoted, held that ball, and looked for some help.
Mountaineers really mixed their defenses up. They played some zone, they played some full man-to-man and combinations of zone and man.
Here's Lang, his shot doesn't go, his tap doesn't go. It does go out of bounds, there'll be a jump ball. Lang and Russell Todd. Up, they put Brakowski in the center circle. Looked to me like Lang with a shot. Now they bring in the right man. Brakowski wants to do it instead.
Well, I see the official with a coin out there, Woody. Maybe they're going to flip it and see who goes in.
Well, there's 2 inches difference in there between Lang and Brakowski.
And Gil Catlett talking about it, too.
Right. Brakowski with the ball. Looks for the bucket. Doesn't like to shoot outside like that, being a big man. Here's Fetter with no fear. And shot is tapped in by Brakowski.
That time, Brakowski worked his way down the lane once the shot was taken and got an excellent offensive rebounding positioning and tipped it up and in.
20-17. Lowe's Moore with the ball, and Buffy goes after it, commits the personal. Gil Catlett takes a journey down to the center of the court. Talking to a couple of his players, now heads back for the bench.
Well, Woody, I think they're playing Lowe's Moore. They're picking him up high, and they've got to play physical with him a little bit in order to keep him out of the area. He's very difficult inside that foul line. He can make so many things happen for you.
Here's Russell Todd, gets the ball down to Bill Collins, and Collins is guilty of the push-off underneath. Offensive foul. West Virginia will lose the basketball, and Collins will come out of the game, replaced by 32, Donnie Gibson.
I think Gil Catlett saw exactly what we saw, Woody. We saw a foul of Collins just elbowing in there, so he took him right out of the ball game immediately and went with Donnie Gibson.
Here's Penn State across the timeline, and Diego McCoy went sky high for the blocked shot. Edelman went underneath of him almost. McCoy got him in the head with a foot.
Well, you know, sometimes it's, your thinking out there is very, very important most of the time. And, of course, Mike Edelman has not had a lot of confidence in his shooting. And he went for the, he just used a head fake to get a little bit closer. And, of course, that drew Diego McCoy right up in the air. And then you can do nothing once you're in the air. And he came down right on top of him.
Okay, the Lions now go into the bonus situation. Joe Frizz, 21, returns to the Mountaineer lineup at guard. And Edelman at the line, shooting 1-1. Score goes out to 21-17. The Lions had led by 6 at 16-10 earlier in the half. 22-17. That comes with 6.5 minutes to go. Shots aplenty underneath, but nothing will fall for the Mountaineers. They're in a dry spell right now.
Well, that time, Woody, Penn State come back and jumped in the zone defense. Of course, the Mountaineers got the ball down quick, got a shot from the corner, and against that zone, they got excellent offensive rebounding position because you were guarding an area. Penn State's protecting an area and not a man, and, of course, Greg Nance got inside.
Number 20 in the dark shirt is Tracy Peel, a freshman from Glen Mills, Pennsylvania. He's into the ball game, replacing Greg Buffy.
Well, we got a 1-2-2 zone, and we'll see if the Mountaineers patient against it.
Here's Gibson with a trouble holding on to the ball. Frizz tries to get it under to Todd. Ball out of bounds into the pep band, and it'll be West Virginia basketball.
Well, against the 1-2-2 zone, you want to try to attack in that middle, and of course you'll get shots sometimes down out of that corner too, but try to get the basketball into the middle.
Out it comes to Joe Frizz, the 6'1" senior from Coriopolis, Pennsylvania.
And you can see number 32, Gibson, wide open inside there. See if they elect to go in there and find him. There it is.
Gibson to Moore. His shot is good.
Excellent split that time. Gibson dropping it back outside to Moore. Goes down the center for his jumper.
Lowe's with 6 points now in the ball game. Here's Tracy Peel from the side.
Well, they beat the press. They got a 2-on-1, and Peel hits the jumper.
24-19 now. And 5.5 to go. Shot is up and good.
Right in that area, Gibson with the jump shot in the middle of the zone.
Well, they're trading back and forth now, 21-26. A 5-point ball game. Gibson to Moore to Nance. Fakes his man off his feet, now goes up for the shot. And Brakowski comes down with a rebound. Lang down to Fetter. And the Lions set it up again. Tracy Peel. Rich Fetter down to Edelman. His shot rejected by Nance. The return is no good by Fetter. The return now by Edelman is good.
2 and 3 shots inside, Woody. Very difficult to stop. It's just the percentages. You want to stop them on that first one.
28-21, a 7-point Penn State lead. Comes with 4:25 to go in the first half. Shot is no good. The tap is up and good by Donnie Gibson.
Well, West Virginia is attacking in the middle of that 1-2-2 with Gibson. And of course, that time he went right down the lane.
28-23. And Dennis Hosey comes into the ball game for West Virginia. Hosey replaces Greg Nance. Penn State takes the opportunity to come on with Steve Kuhn, number 51. The Mountaineers return with number 25, Noah Moore. Penn State, meanwhile, with the basketball and a 5-point lead, 4 minutes ahead of halftime. Frykowski walks for the ball. Penn State's big men have had trouble tonight planting that foot, going for the shot or the pass.
Well, they use them in their offense, but of course this has helped the Mountaineers with a turnover out there, and let's see if they can't capitalize. So far, they've not been able to do well offensively.
Noah Moore with the basketball. Frizz to Moore to Hosey. And again, West Virginia taking their time, looking for an opening in that zone.
Well, they've got Moore foul line extended, an excellent shooter from outside, and also wing.
Lowe's Moore's shot, no good. Penn State comes out with the ball. Tracy Peel takes Frizz inside. They dive for the basketball. They'll have to decide this with a jump.
Well, that time Tracy Peel came down, crossed over right in with the left hand into heavy traffic. Of course, the Mountaineers coming back on defense created that by keeping their hands alive and batting it away.
Mike Sirko, one of the officials, about to put the ball up. It's slapped around, and Penn State comes out with it. Rich Fetter in the corner gives up the shot, goes back out to Peel, and the Lions will set it up. Tracy Peel has not been playing a lot of basketball. Here's walking called on Peel. I don't know, the floor might be slippery here tonight.
Well, a lot of turnovers by Penn State, giving Mountaineers extra chances to get into the basketball game, but so far they've been unable to connect.
The crowd comes to life again as Joe Frizz brings it down. Into the corner to Hosey. His pass back to Lowe's Moore. Joe Frizz with it now, goes to Noah Moore. Inside to Gibson, across to Lowe's Moore. Not a good pass. And a foul call. It's on Rich Fetter. Number 44, Fetter picks up his first personal tonight. And West Virginia will go to the foul line. Lowe's Moore steps in.
Well, so far in this basketball game in the first half, Woody, the Mountaineers have tried about everything. Gil Catlett's used every type of gimmick he's had. He knows his club is not playing well. You try to keep mixing up, hoping you'll find combinations in there that'll work for you. And I think so far, to be down only 4 points at this time, I think he has to feel very fortunate because they have not played well here in the first half.
Moore comes in an 80% free throw shooter. He's 3 for 3 on the night tonight. Here's his second shot. He's got 4 for 4. 8 points for Moore. 28-25, a 3-point ball game. And West Virginia takes it away. Moore lobs it down to Frizz. Here's Noah Moore. The shot does not fall. Penn State back on the attack. Peel to Edelman. Moore rejects the shot. Down to Frizz. It's batted around, and Peel is charged with a foul.
Well, that time we have a heavy exchange off both breaks. Both teams pushing it up and down the floor very quickly. And, of course, a couple steals by Moore and then by Noah Moore trying to get deep to Joe Frizz. And, of course, Tracy Peel committing the foul.
Well, a lot of action in a short span of time. In this ball game that started off being a ho-hummer, Joe Frizz puts it up. He's got it. And it's 28-26, Penn State. Frizz with 3 points on the night. West Virginia 6 of 7 from the line as a team tonight. as Frizz misses the second shot. Penn State down quickly. Peel has the ball batted away, and Frizz will be caught this time with a personal.
Well, Tracy Peel was looking away and had his back, and I think Joe Frizz wanted to try to come up and bat it away toward Lowe's Moore, and hopefully he could break off for the break and get a snowbird down here at the other end, but he slapped him across the arm.
Tracy Peel, a good-looking freshman, 6'3", from Glen Mills, Pennsylvania, puts up the shot and gets the first one. Mike Lang comes back into the game for the Lions, number 52, replaces Rich Fetter. Second shot by Peel is good. He has 4 points, and it's 30-26. Lowe's Moore, number 11, gives off to Joe Frizz. Mountaineers being very patient. Here's Hosey. His shot won't fall. Penn State goes for the rebound. And it's carried out of bounds by Mike Lang.
Well, Dick Carter adjusted that zone defense. He's gone to a 1-3-1, and now your shots be splitting out front, so you should be able to get some good shots from the outside. Now they've jumped back into that really a 1-2-2. Now they popped it up again. They're switching off in there.
Gibson has no shot, comes back out to Moore, and now they'll start it all again. Underneath, Hosey goes around Lang, can't find the shot. It's tapped up and in, I believe, by Gibson.
Right, Woody, he made an excellent play. He's doing a real good job of getting on the inside of that zone, offensive rebounding-wise, and is getting a lot of second shots in there.
Donnie Gibson now with 6 points. Mike Kuhn can't find the shot. Here's Brakowski. It'll fall for him. 4 field goals for Brakowski. A minute 15 to go in the first half. Penn State leading 32-28. A reminder also tonight, Pitt and Duquesne in Pittsburgh. St. Bonaventure at George Washington also in the Eastern 8. Here's Joe Frizz. West Virginia will go back into Eastern 8 play on Saturday afternoon at the Civic Arena against the Duquesne Dukes.
Let's see if Penn State runs it down, tries to go in with a 2-point lead, or if they'll look inside. I think they'll want the good one.
Just 39 seconds to go in the half. And a 32-30 ball game. Penn State by 2. And it does indeed look like they'll go for the final shot. Brakowski fakes the shot. 25 seconds to go. Under to Lang. He's got the easy shot. Mike Lang coming in the back door. And it's 34-30. 15 seconds to go. Frizz directs traffic. This is Noah Moore into Gibson. Gibson with no shot. Now Moore. Pass to Lowe's Moore. Stolen by Peel. 4 seconds. 3 seconds. Tracy Peel. And there's the horn. It does not fall. So an action-packed final 6 minutes or so of this first half. A ball game that started out rather slowly. But we're at halftime at the Coliseum in Morgantown with a score. The Penn State Nittany Lions 34, the West Virginia Mountaineers 30.
For the best things life has in store.
Woody O'Hara along with Jay Jacobs here at halftime at the Coliseum, and the Penn State Nittany Lions, Jay, hold that 4-point lead. At one point in the first half, they led by 7 at 28-21. It's been a catch-up night for the Mountaineers all along. There have been 5 ties, but I don't think a West Virginia lead yet.
No, and I'll tell you, I looked down the bench one time, Woody, and Gil Catlett had his tie untied. He's tried about everything here in the first half. And, you know, we've talked earlier off the set a little bit about so goes Lowe's, so goes the Mountaineers offensively. And I'm sure that Gil Catlett does not want this. You need balanced scoring if you're going to win basketball game. You can't do it with 1 or 2 people.
Well, Penn State is the kind of basketball team that once they feel they have a hold of the ball game, they can become very, very deliberate, go for the excellent shot. And thus, the ball game is prolonged. There's not a great deal of action, and there was not a great deal of action in this one until probably the last 5.5 or 6 minutes of the first half.
Well, West Virginia tried to come out and up-tempo of the game. They made some steals. They got some steals off the fast break, but they were unable to capitalize at the other end. Penn State turned the ball over quite a bit, but the Mountaineers just could not hit the hoop. And here in the second half, they're going to have to shoot better and continue to play good, tough defense. As long as you're playing good defense in this game, you're going to be in a game.
Okay, West Virginia comes in off of an outstanding performance against league rival Villanova.
Right.
Blew them out of here last Saturday. Penn State, likewise, with an outstanding ball game against Duquesne at home. They also defeated Delaware quite handily. The Lions have a great deal of confidence. West Virginia has a great deal of confidence. And this ball game looks almost like a standoff at this point.
Well, you know, both teams have turned the basketball over, and the Mountaineers in the last month, Woody, have just played super since down in Ohio U. I'll go back to that game that we worked, and it was, you know, they just didn't play well at all, and Gail Cattler went back to the drawing board. And since then, the Mountaineers have been playing exceptional basketball. But, you know, sometime this league and basketball is full of peaks and valleys. You're going to be up some, you're going to be down some, and it's a long season. And, of course, I had said something this afternoon about the fact that, you know, I'm sure Gil Cattler wishes now that he was ready to start maybe the tournament the way his club was playing coming into this game tonight. But after looking at this first half, I don't think so.
Well, I'll tell you, an action-packed second half coming up. You know, the recruiting wars in football are well underway all over the country. WVU's new head coach, Don Nealon, is in the thick of things. Earlier, we recorded an interview with Coach Nealon. We'll be back to take a look at that interview right after this break on the Mountaineers Sports Network.
Looks like Jamie.
At the WVU Coliseum in Morgantown, the halftime score is 34-30 in favor of Penn State. The West Virginia Mountaineers victimized by poor shooting in the first half, 34.5% on 12 of 29 from the field, while Penn State hitting 15 of 25, shooting 60%. As Jay Jacobs just mentioned to me, the difference in the first half was simply the Penn State turnovers. Had it not been for those turnovers, West Virginia might be far back in this ball game. Jay, we've got a halftime performance out here by two midget teams, and I think it's interesting that at least one of those 10 players on the floor is a little girl.
Yeah, we thought we might not ever see that, Jack.
9 boys and 1 girl out there,
Right.
and by golly, she's mixing it up with them and doing a good job.
She sure is.
A tough physical basketball game, and you've got to go back throughout this entire season and contemplate every game that's been played in here to come up with one that compares with the physical force of this one on the part of both sides. And I think that was reflected in the number of people that were rubbing up splinters all evening.
Well, you know, the officials came right out, and from the beginning they let them play, Jack, and of course it was a while before the crowd could really get into the basketball game. And I think another point is the fact is Lowe's Moore in this basketball game in the first half has a total of 8 points, and you know, this is you feel like you have to have more scoring out of him if you're going to be in a game, but you got to have some balance in there too.
Well, the West Virginia Mountaineers are down by 4 at halftime, so the challenge will go out to them now to come back in the ball game and attempt to even up the season series. Penn State won the earlier game at University Park on December 8th, 68-66 in overtime. That was a thriller, and the same type of game is developing here tonight. And if both clubs would shoot in a more proficient manner, we might have some high scoring. At any rate, we'll take a look at the official stats right after this.
Last week, WVU head football coach Don Nealon and his new staff passed up some fun in the sun in New Orleans for the national coaching meeting and decided to stay on the job, but it didn't necessarily mean that they stayed in town in Morgantown. Don, you've been traveling widely around the state of West Virginia and I guess the East, haven't you?
Right, Woody. We've been just about all over the country, to be perfectly honest. I've been in every kid's home in the state of West Virginia, quite a few homes in western Pennsylvania and a few homes in Ohio, and I'm happy to report that our first total recruiting meeting on January 2nd, our coaching staff, who's completely new and from all different parts of the country, we have roughly 70 kids set to visit West Virginia, and they're all good football players.
Now, out of those 70, and that number will probably grow in time, how many recruits do you hope to sign this time around?
Well, we would like to sign roughly 25 kids, give or take one, but if we can sign 25 freshmen, we'll be in good shape.
This past weekend was an action-packed one for you and your staff, and for a lot of nice young men around the West Virginia, Western Pennsylvania area. You had quite a few recruits in on a recruiting trip, a campus visit. What basically did the trip comprise of as far as the recruits were concerned?
Well, most of the young men arrived either Friday night or Saturday morning. At that time, they would come to the Coliseum and they would meet all of the coaches. We had a little bit of hot chocolate and coffee for their parents and some donuts, and then they would go around and see the campus. At noon, we had a nice luncheon for them, and at that time, they met the professor that was going to give them their academic appointment and their academic tour of the building. They would spend about an hour and a half with the professor of the college of their choice. The parents was with the boy at that time. Then they would come back, and I would have an individual meeting with both the boy and the parent for about a half of an hour. And then we ended up with a dinner at the Ramada Inn about 6:30 or 7 with the basketball game squeezed in the middle, and a little party for the parents after the kids were out with our players. Then Sunday morning we had another little luncheon and a little bit of an exit interview telling the kids, you know, we're really interested in them and so forth. And it was a great weekend, it really was.
Well, when you talk about the individual treatment with 17 different individuals in, that took up some time.
No question about it, but the thing that impressed me the most was the West Virginia football players that we have on campus came back early, gave up 3 days of vacation, said, Coach, anything we can do to help us win, we'll do. They were here, and they did a wonderful job for us.
Well, Don, we're in the middle of basketball season, the middle of the winter season, but I guess for you and your staff, football is a year-round type operation. We eagerly await the fall of 1980.
I do, too, and yet, you know, it's amazing. I love basketball, and I love that Mountaineer spirit. I love them.
Before a rebuilt engine leaves Risch Equipment Company's Unit Rebuild Center at St. Albans, West Virginia, it is operated 8 hours under variable load conditions. Our engines are tested so thoroughly that we ensure original manufacturer performance. At Risch Equipment Company, we believe in standing behind the equipment we sell, with product support second to none. Beneath the mountainous terrain of West Virginia, Southwest Virginia, and Eastern Kentucky lies the answer to our nation's energy problems: coal. And aligned closely to coal is Flat Top Insurance Agency. Flat Top has grown alongside the coal industry since 1897. Today, we're #1 in coal mining insurance. Flat Top Insurance Agency.
It's Flat Top Insurance for your security.
Lovely, isn't it? But is it real? You're looking at the incredible Blue Star counterfeit diamond ring. You've seen all kinds of simulated diamonds that have a dull, fuzzy, yellow, or glassy look. But there's only one Blue Star counterfeit diamond. It's flawless, full of fire and brilliance, dispersing a blaze of spectral colors like tiny rainbows. A 1-carat center stone surrounded by 4 smaller stones. Yes, an expert can tell the difference, but practically no one else can. And it comes in a man's style, too. Rings of similar quality are sold for as high as $50, but for a very limited time, we are offering this ring to you for only $14.95, 2 for $28. Enjoy it for 10 days, and if you're not delighted, return it, and we'll refund your money, no reason necessary. Only $14.95 or 2 for $28. Order now and give your ring size.
Call toll-free 1-800-323-1717. That's 1-800-323-1717.
Jack Fleming with Jay Jacobs and Woody O'Hara at the WVU Coliseum in Morgantown. Penn State leading 34-30. The Lions, 15 field goals to 12 for West Virginia. And Penn State is shooting at the end of the first half 53.6 from the field. West Virginia 38.7. In free throws, West Virginia 6 of 8. The Lions 4 of 5. Rebounding, Penn State 22 to West Virginia's 13. Personal fouls are even at 8 apiece. Turnovers, a big item. Penn State has had 13. West Virginia's had 7. 34-30 is the halftime score. And the Lions led by Frank Rakowski with 10 points. West Virginia led in scoring by Lowesborn and Greg Nance, each with 8 points. So tonight's meeting is the 97th in the long series. West Virginia has won 50 times. Penn State has won 46. And this house tonight, as we told you earlier, has to be in excess of 12,000 fans. The Lions are back with Mike Lang. They've got Tom Wilkinson ready to go again after that injury to his right foot or ankle. Craig Buffy is back out there. Rich Vedder and Frank Rakowski. West Virginia, Joe Frizz, Lowe's Moore. Greg Nance, they're starting Donnie Gibson and Russell Todd. Nance will jump against Rakowski. Rakowski 6'9", Nance 6'8". Mountaineers are down by 4. The student body comes to its feet. And they're ready to play basketball in the WVU Coliseum. Penn State, Tom Wilkinson. The Lions with Rich Vedder, who became a starter since we last saw them. Junior in that lineup.
Well, they have Todd and Gibson in there, Jack, and they're playing man-to-man defense. Tough shot.
Mike Lang on the turnaround shot, 36-30. Goes Moore. Crowded. Nance reaches up, can't control it. Vedder down the floor, and the ball goes to Buffy, and Buffy lays it up on the breakaway. Penn State 38, West Virginia 30, an 8-point lead. That's the biggest lead of the night for Penn State.
Well, look at the early first 3 or 4 minutes of this basketball game and see if the Mountaineers can kick themselves back into it.
Penn State on a fine defensive play by Mike Lang. Down comes Craig Buffy. And Lang shot off the board, and the rebound pulled out by Russell Todd, the freshman from North Fork, West Virginia. Frizz working outside with Moore. Moore goes to Todd on the left wing. Nance against Mike Lang. And the ball is deep to Frizz. Penn State playing man for man.
Right now, Penn State's been successful in slowing the Mountaineers down offensively, Jack, and I think Yale Kettler have to go to those quick guards in there to get some movement.
Todd on the shot, rebound taken by Penn State. Frank Rakowski pulls it off the boards. Tom Wilkinson advances it into the front court. And West Virginia going man for man. See if they get, you're watching there, you're looking for the triangle and 2, and yet you see them match up. So you can't exactly determine. We haven't had a long enough look to see what they're doing. But now Moore's coming out, Frizz coming out, and the 2 freshmen are coming back in. We've got Greg Jones, the freshman from Youngstown, Ohio, in, and Diego McCoy, the freshman from Washington, D.C. The shot by Rich Vedder is short. Phil Collins pulls it out of the air. Jones, who can move that transition play, but his pass is intercepted by Rakowski. And the violation called on Penn State. And the ball goes back over to West Virginia.
That time, Jack, Greg Jones tried to come down and force that ball into a whole group of Penn State people who are already back on defense. Very difficult to do.
Jones into Nance. Won't drop. Rebound, Vedder to Wilkinson. Tom Wilkinson, a senior from Lynbrook, New York. The Penn State playmaker. Now they go down inside, and look at that. Rakowski takes it and scores it down to the hole. 40-30, a 10-point lead for the Nittany Lions with 17:50 to go.
That time West Virginia was in a man-to-man defense, and they cleared it out and got good opening inside.
Diego McCoy being chased. Greg Jones working on the point. McCoy to Nance. Collins with the rebound. Real heavy in there, and now coming up is Craig Buffy. And he appears to have caught something in the face.
I think it was an elbow that time, Jack. I think Phil Collins got in the inside. Once he got the basketball, he went up for a move, and Buffy was on the outside of him and caught the tail end of his elbow. I think what Penn State is doing real well is they are really packing it back in. Once the ball goes inside, they're just collapsing real well and stopping Nance on the inside.
Buffy is charged with a foul. It is his 3rd. That is the first team foul against the Nittany Lions. And Buffy is groggy. And we said in the first half, working over on the radio side, that this had to be as physical a game of basketball as we'd seen in a long time, and to witness it again as Buffy got caught up in that turmoil in there. It is Mike Edelman, the 6'1 sophomore from Havertown, Pennsylvania, who had been a starter in the earlier game. And Edelman comes back off the bench to replace Buffy and Phil Collins at the line for West Virginia. He has another one coming. Collins, a junior college transfer, sophomore from Palos Heights, Illinois. He's a lefty, as you see. Well, he hits the free throw, and at the same time, we got a blocking foul called on Russell Todd.
Right, as the shot was taken, he slid in and blocked out. The point does count. Mountaineers are going to pick up all over the floor. Pressing defenses on the man out of bounds. They'll look for a double team right in there.
40-31. West Virginia picks them up at the dressing room door, and here comes Wilkinson with the ball. Double team in the backcourt. Overplay by Jones. Ball controlled by Brakowski. Frank Brakowski gets it into Lang and back outside again to Wilkinson. And Wilkinson controls the pulse of the Penn State offense. Mike Lang against Nance. West Virginia, man for man, all the way across the board now. Into Brakowski. Turnaround shot is far off the mark. The rebound, Greg Nance with the ball. Greg Jones. Jones with the jump shot.
Hey, Jack, he's going to be an excellent basketball player. He comes down the net break real well, pulls up excellent at the foul line. There's a steal.
Interception by Diego McCoy. West Virginia's got it back. The Mountaineers went 3 minutes and 15 seconds without scoring a field goal. But they got one, and now they've got the ball back. They're down by 7. Collins over the head of Brakowski. Won't stick, jump ball. Russell Todd and Frank Brakowski. Now we're getting a timeout in the ball game. The score 40-33 in favor of Penn State, and we'll be right back.
Presenting McDonald's Star Trek meal. Parents, take a good look. It's the only meal approved for your kids by the United Federation of Planets.
Outside, the Enterprise, action, intrigue. 5 exciting boxes based on Star Trek, the motion picture. Inside, a regular hamburger, fries, soft drink, a McDonald and cookie sampler, and a Star Trek prize. Star Trek meal, games, jokes, puzzles. Your kids will love them. McDonald's Star Trek meal.
This is a TV 53 News Watch update with Mavis Logan.
Good evening. In news tonight, Super Bowl preparations are going on strong out in California. Gold hit another new high today, and President Carter says that world reaction to the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan may stop any future aggression. He said he does not believe the Russians will advance troops to other countries, considering the overall condemnation of the Soviet Union by the General Assembly. Trade has also been restricted by many countries, a further indication of non-support to Russia. And Senator Richard Schweiker visited Pittsburgh today. He is advocating limited arms sales to China, saying the Russians must become aware that the United States will not tolerate aggression. The arms sales to China are hopefully to subdue any further Soviet advance in the Middle East. Schweiker said that the invasion of Afghanistan is a serious matter and that a mere slap on the wrist to the Russians is not enough. They've got to realize we mean business. Details at 10:50 on Newswatch.
This has been a TV 53 News Watch update with Mavis Logan.
On the tap to Lang, the play down the floor to Edelman, and underneath to Wilkinson.
That's just a mistake on the Mountaineers' part, not having anybody being back. They get beat with the tip-off and down the floor in one pass for a score.
Russell Todd driving, lays it up, no good. And the ball is out of bounds on the near side. Coming almost into our laps was Mike Edelman. Penn State has made 19 of 34. About 53%. West Virginia 13 of 36 from the field, 36.1%. Mountaineers trailing by 9, 42-33. Now the call away from the ball on Frank Brakowski.
Well, Jack, you've mentioned how physical it is inside, and of course, if you continue to let them get away with that, then you're going to gain confidence, and it's going to be banging around in there. And so far, the officials have let them play inside. It's been very rough.
Gary Korkowski coming up off the Penn State bench to replace Frank Brakowski.
So you don't lose much whenever either one of them exchange with each other.
Nance Greg Nance now has 10 points, 42-35. Penn State by 7. Well, they had a bad pass, but they got the good bounces, and they hustled for it, and Wilkinson winds up with the ball outside now. And Penn State gets its offense going. West Virginia man for man.
Against that man-to-man, Jack, they leave that middle open, hoping to get some cutters down through there.
Here comes Spetter. Beautiful play.
Yeah,
Rich Spetter getting his first field goal of the second half.
Right, he just beat Russell Todd to the basketball that time and moved on him very quickly.
44-35 in favor of the Nittany Lions. Greg Nance. Rebound, Wilkinson. Pass to Lang. Mike Lang, Penn State.
Mountaineers are not back on defense. Both times been beaten into transition by Penn State. They'll take that break if they can get it.
State 46, West Virginia 35. Russell Todd. The cutter, McCoy. Jones sailing in there, doesn't drop. Nance with a follow-up, block, and the foul call. Charge the foul to Mike Lang. That is his first. Lang is a freshman from Lombard, Illinois at 6'7", 230. Big, strong front liner. Now Joe Frizz and Lowe's Moore coming off the West Virginia bench, replacing Diego McCoy and Greg Jones.
Gil Catlett continues to shuffle his lineup, looking for a combination that can put his club back in this basketball game. Greg Nance at the line for 2 shots, and his tough game is inside, and that's where he plays well.
Nance shooting 69.6 at the foul line, and he hits it. 46-36, Penn State by 10. Nance on a pair, cuts it to 46-37. The 11-point lead was the biggest of the ball game. Penn State on the attack, and the pressure is on. Mike Lang. Now Wilkinson talks to the bench just to our left, gets the word from Dick Carter. Wilkinson chased by Lowe's Moore. West Virginia man for man. Edelman pops out and takes it on the near side. And Wilkinson continues to direct the attack.
A lot of screening out there, Jack, and there used Kurkowski off that post.
Wilkinson, that's his third field goal. They opened him up in the left corner area, and they have the 11-point lead once again, and that's with 14:01 to go. Now Penn State man for man. Steve Kuhn coming up off the Penn State bench. Collins to Nance. West Virginia posting Nance and Collins down low. Mountaineers finding that Penn State defense tenacious and tough tonight.
Playing real well. They're playing real physical out there. They're squaring up on their man and not giving West Virginia anything inside.
Nance in nothing but heavy trouble on that shot try.
Well, once they put a man in front of him, once the lob pass comes, Jack, then they put a man behind him from the weak side to help out. Very difficult.
Frizz coming out, Jones back in. Here's Dennis Hosey returning. Hosey from Midland, PA, Western Beaver High School, replacing Russell Todd. And Hose will be the inbounder for the Mountaineers. 48-37. Lowe's Moore over to Dennis Hosey. That's Nance. Traveling call, no basket. So the clock is turned down to 13:16 to go, and West Virginia trails Penn State 48-37. And West Virginia tonight far off the game that it has played since the holidays. Mountaineers have been, here's the Jones in to break it up, and he fouled on the play. The Mountaineers have played almost flawless ball, Jay.
They really have, Jack. You made an excellent point about playing the tough games that we haven't playing so well through the last week, but I don't know when you come out mentally prepared for this basketball game, but Gil Catlett certainly tried every type of defense available, but they seem to be just a step behind tonight.
Steve Kuhn, that's his first field goal. 50-37, a 13-point lead. Got a foul called on Greg Nance.
And Penn State's just about, with Dick Carter, been able to dictate just about anything they wanted to do out here.
Kuhn goes to the line for State. He converts the three-pointer. And the score is 51-37. That's a 14-point lead. Collins playing outside now. Moore is being dogged by Edelman. And Edelman has responded to the challenge of coming off the bench, playing him tough. Won't drop for Lowe's Moore. On the rebound, Wilkinson comes up with the ball. Kuhn got into heavy traffic, gave the ball to Korkowski, who missed the shot, and West Virginia on the rebound. Dennis Hosey. Rebound, Steve Kuhn, Penn State.
One of the few breaks the Mountaineers have gotten tonight, and they weren't able to capitalize.
Wilkinson continues to direct the Penn State attack. All right, here comes Kuhn now.
Well, he's come off the bench, Jack, and scored 5 points right away, and everybody they put in there has played real well for him.
16-point lead, and we've just passed the 11:45 mark to go. West Virginia scored only 7 in this half. Nance inside, doesn't drop. Foul is called on Gary Korkowski. With 11:35 to play the ball game, we have a timeout in the action. Score is Penn State 53, West Virginia 37. So a timeout, we'll be right back.
You're smiling and all the while your heart just pounds away. The training builds and ends on this fateful day. It's the Pepsi generation face to face at a frog jumping race. Come on, come on, come on and have a Pepsi day. Come on, come on, come on and taste the Pepsi way. Come on, come on and have a Pepsi day.
Giant Eagle wishes the Steelers all the best in the Super Bowl. And this week, Giant Eagle brings more of the best to you with a super price on Coke, Tab, or Sprite. 8 16-ounce bottles are just $1.19. While you're here, pick up a Coca-Cola Match the Superstar game card. Also this week at Giant Eagle, iceberg lettuce is only 25 cents a head. Our congratulations to the Steelers, the #1 football team from the #1 supermarket.
Giant Eagle bringing all the best news.
At the WVU Coliseum in Morgantown, Jack Fleming along with Jay Jacobs and Woody O'Hara. The Penn State Nittany Lions lead the West Virginia Mountaineers 53-37 on the Mountaineers' home court. And West Virginia back out there with Nance, Collins, Hosey, Lowe's Moore, and Greg Jones. Penn State coming back with Mike Edelman, Tom Wilkinson. And in the front line, they've got Steve Kuhn working along with Rich Fetter and Frank Brakowski.
Jack, the front line of Penn State's played really well in this ball game tonight. I think they've been somewhat the difference, and they've played really taking care of the basketball half court. But full court, when the Mountaineers are pressed, they've turned the ball over. The Mountaineers have not been able to hit their shots.
Well, the basket, the free throw is overruled. Nance has to be discouraged because he would appear to be the only player for West Virginia who's playing consistently tonight thus far in the ballgame. Rich Fetter outside, and now they give it to Wilkinson, and Wilkinson will set it up. The Mountaineers come out of this ball game into a big one on Saturday at the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh, an Eastern 8 game against Duquesne. West Virginia coming alive on defense with Greg Jones committing the foul. There was a great furor when West Virginia lost the 2 Penn State games as league games and picked up Virginia Tech in 2 games. And when this one's over, it may be that everybody can be happy that Penn State is not a league opponent.
You're exactly right.
Because here at home, we've got a good shot at Virginia Tech, and tonight it's not happening against Penn State.
But there's still time, Jack, to get back in this basketball game and keep plugging away defensively, which fell down a little bit here in the second half.
Dennis Hosey commits the foul.
And it laid Penn State to allow them to get out to the lead that they have now.
Rich Fetter has been a most interesting addition to this starting lineup for the Nittany Lions. Dick Carter shook them up, and he shook them up good. Fetter from Riverton, Illinois, averaged 27 points and 13.5 rebounds a game last year for Riverton High.
I think we saw Wise, an excellent medium-range shooter, a good shooter out of the corner, but, you know, they could go up front with Fetters and Lang, and, of course, they got Kurkowski and Brookowski along with Steve Kuhn, and they've got some pretty physical players to go up front for them.
The earlier ball game at Penn State, Fetter played 27 minutes and scored 13 points. And now he has hit at the free throw line and misses the second one. Hosey with the rebound, 54-38. Lowe's more in trouble. Penn State's Brookowski over the ball. The pass to Fetter. Here's Fetter. No good. He was fouled. And the foul on Phil Collins.
That time, Jack Lowes-Moore coming down on the break. They bunched in and made some physical contact with him, knocked the ball away from him, and then the throw back down to the other end of the floor with him penetrating. Nobody back on defense. Phil Collins, the first one down, drew the foul.
This young man played at center in high school. As a forward in college, he's making the transition smoothly. He scored 2,569 points in his high school career. Shot 57% in the 4 years of play. Fetter gets 1 out of 2. It's 55-38. Greg Nance gets away from Kuhn and banks it in with 10:38 to go. So West Virginia went a spell without a field goal. That's Edelman. Rebound, Collins, West Virginia, to Diego McCoy, or rather to Greg Jones. Jones and Lowe's-Moore in there in the backcourt. Hosey to Moore.
Well,
Moore seems to be off his game now.
You're exactly right, Jack, and I think just lost some confidence out there, and each move he makes has not been a good one here tonight, but you're going to have those basketball games. You have to keep plugging away, and hopefully he could get us back in here. They got him out of the ball game now.
The pressure defense. Brookowski. Rebound Fetter. Outside Edelman and deep to Wilkinson. And Wilkinson says, let's slow it down, set it up. Wilkinson playing with Edelman in the backcourt. Brookowski is the ribbon man, and they took too long. Fine defensive job by Greg Jones, so we get the jump ball.
Well, he kept him outside. He didn't penetrate across the lane, didn't make any move towards the basket. Gil Kettles wanted that call because it's happened a couple times here this evening already.
Jay, if we check back, West Virginia went between 6 and 7 minutes without a field goal. Before Nance hit one with 10:38 to go. We're going to do this one all over again. That's Wilkinson, number 21 for Penn State, and Greg Jones, number 12, a freshman for West Virginia. Foul called on Diego McCoy of West Virginia.
Well, that jump ball was set up. Greg went with the Penn State tip and tried to knock it back to McCoy. Penn State jumped in front with 43. Brookowski, and of course Diego just climbed right up him and drew the foul.
At the line now is Frank Brookowski for the first time tonight. Won't drop for him. Foul called on the rebounding play, and Kuhn is the offender. They charge it to Mike Lang, not Steve Kuhn.
Hey, Jack, there's not much offense out there for the Mountaineers now, trying to go inside, probably to Nance.
Foul has been called on Frank Bukowski. That'll be his third.
Here's the replay. Coming down inside, you see the ball go down inside to Collins. You see Bukowski leaning on him.
Back in the live action, Greg Jones breaking to the left side, getting the shot away. That went inside the rim. Popped out on him. But he was fouled on the play. The foul charge to Tom Wilkinson, his third. 17 foul on Penn State, so both ball clubs have 17 fouls. And Jones will be at the line for 2 shots. Jones, the freshman from Youngstown, Ohio, shooting 60% at the foul line hits.
Very strong kid, Jack, and he made that move that time, and he was fouled and still had enough to get the ball up to the hoop. Down 13. I think within the next 2 minutes, the Mountaineers' objective try to get this game back to 10 points at the 10-minute mark.
55-42, 9:21 to play, and Penn State under pressure in the backcourt, and they go up the floor to Edelman. Edelman to Wilkinson, and here comes Wilkinson to Edelman. Take that Lang. And the ball is out of bounds to Penn State, off the hands of Greg Jones. The Lions have consistently, since the start of this ball game, with some small areas where they couldn't, but most of the time been able to break the pressure.
Yes, they have, and they've attacked down there. Great play by Jones.
Jones saves it, gets it to Hosey. Diego McCoy takes it into the front court.
Jack, don't you just sense that this crowd is waiting to come off its feet if the Mountaineers can produce something in their fourth.
They work it into Collins. Collins powers his way to the basket. 55-44. Wilkinson. Harry Wilkinson is the man who can control the Penn State offense as the crowd comes alive. And here's the pass, and they got the man coming. Edelman.
That time he beats Diego McCoy by going back door. Excellent pass, excellent shot.
So Edelman fires through the back door to pick up 2:57-44. Here's Dennis Hosey, won't drop, and the rebound taken by Bukowski. Out of the crowd to Wilkinson. And the Lions on the prowl again. Edelman throws it right over into our table.
Right now, Mike Edelman is a little bit different than what we saw, Jack, back in December. He does not play with the confidence that he had up at State College.
We're getting a timeout in the ball game with 8 minutes and 5 seconds remaining to play at the Coliseum in Morgantown. The score is 57-44 in favor of Penn State.
For the best things life does in store, can you think of a reason you should have to pay more?
Don't get caught with your car down. Protect your car against winter freeze-up with DowGuard. It's easy to install, and at Heck's low discount price, you can't afford to wait any longer. DowGuard takes care of people who take care of their cars.
This makes the difference. This makes the difference.
For you parents who don't speak Klingonese, he's saying, people of Earth, unite and bring your kids to McDonald's for a Star Trek meal.
That's a regular hamburger, fries, soft drink, a McDonald's and cookie sampler, and a Star Trek prize.
Oh, yes, 5 different boxes based on Star Trek the Motion Picture. Action scenes, jokes, games. He says, take it from a father who knows. His kids love him. McDonald's Star Trek meal available for your kids now.
Penn State with a surprising 57-44 lead over West Virginia with 8:05 remaining to play in the ball game. But the Mountaineers have ignited enough to bring this crowd to its feet. And now we're ready to resume play with the Mountaineers showing Hosey, Collins, and Nance in the front line. 2 freshmen, Diego McCoy and Greg Jones in the back line. And the Penn State Nittany Lions with Bukowski up front, along with Kuhn and Lang. McCoy trying to hit Collins, knocked away. Inside play by Mike Lang. Dick Harder has recruited big, strong kids, Jay, and that's the kind of basketball they play. Physical.
That's exactly right, Jack.
West Virginia's hit 16 of 46, shooting only 34.8 from the field. Penn State 25 of 46, 54.3. That's the difference in the ball game right now. Foul is called on Mike Lang. That will be his third.
Well, that time Phil Collins made an underhand pass. We'll see it come up on the replay, Jack. Collins doesn't make a real good pass, but he sees his man inside. We get it a little bit late as Nance tries to cut across. We don't see Collins make an underhand pass, but the foul was called. We need these two foul shots on a 1-and-1 for Greg Nance.
Nance misses. Hosey with a rebound, and the turnaround shot blocked by Brakowski, and coming down with the ball, Steve Kuhn for Penn State. The Lions are playing some kind of tough defense. Overplay by Collins, he misses. And Penn State is calling a timeout. So the Lions want to reset their strategy at this point as we show 7:28 to go in the ball game, and Penn State protecting a 13-point lead against West Virginia. The crowd has been announced at the 10,000 figure, Jay. And every time I estimate a crowd in there, I look around in amazement because I can't see the 4,000 vacant seats, but that's the way they've announced it tonight.
Well, a lot of people here tonight. Jack, we take a look at Gail Catlett going over strategy with the Mountaineers at their bench. I'm sure Dick Harder looked at the clock, seeing 7:28 on it. He's going to go into some type of semi-delay, and Gail Catlett at his end, going over at his club, sure anticipating this, will be working on some type of defense and will help to counteract that. I see in the next 7 minutes a lot of people for maybe both clubs going to the foul line. Tracy Peel has come into the basketball game for Penn State. He's a ball handling guard. We might come out and see a 3-guard offense, and hopefully the Mountaineers can take advantage of this.
Well, a lot of excitement here tonight because both sides have their pep bands and cheerleaders here. So there are times in here when Penn State has more noise going in its favor than the Mountaineers when they have control of the floor and the two groups alternate on timeouts.
Well, we have Moore and Frizz back in the basketball game, and they are in there. Hopefully, Gail Catlett in the last 7 minutes can get something ignited there and get some offense.
Tracy Peel in for Penn State, number 20, a freshman. Came in and hit 6 points for them in the first half, well above his average. And West Virginia pressuring them man for man out to the half-court mark, and this is Moore against Edelman. Edelman gets away from him, shoots over Nance, and hits. Mike Edelman with a big one for Penn State, and the Lions lead by 15 points with 7:09 to go. Joe Frizz in the backcourt with Lowe's Moore. Noah Moore, the 6'8 sophomore from Parkersburg in the front line. Donnie Gibson is back in the ball game, and Greg Nance remains.
Jack, zone defense, 1-2-2 by Penn State, and they brought it out. The shots will be in the middle, and you'll have shots outside off of Edelman, too.
There's Nance. 57-46 as they hit Nance in the middle, and he hits the turnaround shot.
But you just can't trade him down at this end. You've got to get the ball back.
Nance has 17 points and has been the only member of the Mountaineer Club to play any type of consistent basketball. Peel on a great drive. Shot is overruled, and the foul call before the shot on Joe Frizz. That is his third.
Well, that time Frizz was squared up outside, and Tracy Peel got him standing a little bit, and he's got a quick first step. Tracy does. He laid it on the floor and was around Frizz pretty quickly and got excellent position on the inside, but Frizz fouled him outside before the shot was made.
This was the only guard recruited by Penn State this year. Tracy Peel, a 6'3", 166-pounder from Glen Mills, Pennsylvania. He played up front in high school. Tracy hits another one, and Penn State leads 61-46, the 15-point advantage. Noah Moore. And the ball is out of bounds to Penn State. Greg Nance, the last toucher. So they lost Wilkinson in the first half, and then they lost Craig Bumpy in the second half. Here's Donnie Gibson making the play. Lowe's ball with a great save back into Gibson down to Frizz. Joe Frizz. 61-48.
That lob pass hurt Penn State that time. And they were able to make the interception.
5:38 to go. Penn State up by 13, and the Lions want to protect the ball, run out as much time, look for the good shot, the high percentage shot.
They'll look for a back door from the other side if they can, Jack, but they're going to be very patient with it.
That is Steve Kuhn. 63-48. Penn State leading by 15 again. Lowe's Moore trying to hit Donnie Gibson down in the hole. Deflected out of bounds and give it out to Penn State as Wilkinson and Fetter come back in. Edelman and Kuhn come out.
Everybody Dick Carter's used tonight has certainly helped him in this basketball game. They've contributed, each of them have contributed something towards this lead.
All right, Penn State going to Wilkinson. The Lions lost at Pittsburgh 54-50 and at St. Bonnie 89-75, but they got a big 62-52 win over Duquesne at University Park, and then came back and beat Delaware 85-53, coming into this ball game at 8-7.
Well, before, Jack, they were attacking the pressure of the Mountaineers all the way down going in. Now, once they break the press, they set up looking for the good score.
Well, they broke Fetter right in under the basket. 65-48. That's a 17-point lead. 4:24 to go in the ballgame. And Penn State looking as though it's going to hold on for the victory. And the Nittany Lions haven't had one here in Morgantown for several years. So with 4:23 to go, Penn State 65, West Virginia 48. We'll be right back.
Reliable parts are a must
for your car, truck, or bus.
Name brands you can trust.
Parts Plus.
We know just how it feels
to be stuck without your wheels.
See the people you can trust.
Parts Plus.
Parts Plus. Name brands you can trust. Parts Plus. Parts Plus.
It's the sports special of the year, Friday night at 7:30, when TV 53 presents Super Bowl 14, the final Sunday. This is Stan Savran inviting you to join Tom Brookshire and John Madden as they take an in-depth look at our champion Steelers. You'll see interviews with your favorite stars and a complete recap of both the AFC and NFC playoffs. Don't miss this exciting sports special, Friday night at 7:30. TV 53 presents Super Bowl 14, the final Sunday.
Penn State has now won here in Morgantown since 1975. The Lions beat West Virginia 66-65 that year here at the Coliseum. West Virginia won the game at University Park 63-59. In 1974, the Lions won here by 16 points, 71-55. And that same year defeated West Virginia 83-63 at University Park. So it's been 5 years since Penn State has beaten West Virginia in Morgantown, and it has been 6 years since the Lions have had a sweep over the Mountaineers. West Virginia swept the series last year. Russell Todd back in, number 33 for the Mountaineers. Diego McCoy slapped outside by Brakowski, kept in play, and a scramble for the ball out of bounds to Penn State. The Lions have Rich Fetter up front along with Mike Lang, number 52, and Frank Brakowski, number 43. Tracy Peel, number 20, in the backcourt with the veteran Tom Wilkinson. All right, Wilkinson says spread it out. Tracy Peel. And a bad pass picked off by Greg Jones. West Virginia's Greg Jones around the rim and out. Penn State's ball. I'll tell you one thing. When you're not playing good basketball, you don't get the breaks.
No, and the lid's on the hoop tonight. There's no doubt about it. Mountaineers have been unable to cash in on anything, and of course you've tried about everything out there, and Gil Catlett cannot shoot the ball in the basket for him.
Well, they stayed on a steady high last week with a great performance against Syracuse and another great one against Virginia Tech, both very tight losses. Tech down there in overtime, and then coming back to thoroughly annihilate Villanova. Now you come off of that Saturday game, and about 4 days later, you just don't have it in you. Well, and the only guy that I can see, and I'll keep saying it, and Nance appears to be playing his game, and no one else is able to do it tonight.
But, you know, there's been an occasion this club cannot go. Lowe's Moore's going to have games where he's not playing well, and other guys are going to have to contribute. And this is a night where Lowe's did not have a good basketball game, and the club has really faltered.
In the meantime, credit Penn State, because the Lions have played it all over this court, offensively, defensively, at both ends. And they have played it for real. Interception by Diego McCoy. Shot wasn't close. Dennis Hosey has it rejected by Brakowski, and the foul called on Frank Brakowski. He can't believe it.
You know, Jackie made a good point about Penn State. They had a lot of turnovers here tonight, but they still managed to, mainly because the Mountaineers just couldn't capitalize on these. It allowed Penn State to break out in the second half. The Mountaineers have not been in the game at all.
The key here was when they came into the second half leading by only 4 and proceeded to start moving immediately. And that's exactly what the Lions did. And before you knew it, they were ahead by 10, they were ahead by 11, and then they were up by 16, you know, very quickly. Hosey gets 1 out of 2 for West Virginia, 65-49. Penn State moving it rather easily against the pressure. Here's one intercepted. That's not so easily. Jones again. Jones, a great future prospect for this club. Dennis Hosey. Now Penn State has the zone. Jones shoots and hits. 65-51. Jones giving them something to cheer about. Here, Diego McCoy comes up with the ball, but we have a whistle. So you see another phase of the ball game. They're down by a lot of points, but they haven't stopped hustling. Here's the ball taken away by Jones. A pickpocket, and he hits again. 65-53, and Jones has come alive and making all the big plays defensively. Now they're in trouble again, and a jump ball call.
There's 3 straight times. I'm sure Dick Carter is going to ask for a timeout here because West Virginia is slowly getting back into this basketball game.
So great defensive play by Greg Jones, and now the Mountaineers come up with another outstanding play. So with 3:02 to go, and the Penn State lead cut down to 12, 65-53. Let's take this time out for our local station.
For you parents who don't speak Klingonese, he's saying, people of Earth, unite and bring your kids to McDonald's for a Star Trek meal.
That's a regular hamburger, fries, soft drink, a McDonald's and cookie sampler, and a Star Trek prize.
Oh, yes, 5 different boxes based on Star Trek the Motion Picture. Action scenes, jokes, games. He says, take it from a father who knows. His kids love him. McDonald's Star Trek meal available for your kids now.
This is a TV 53 News Watch update with Mavis Logan.
Good evening. In news tonight, Eugene DePasquale was going to visit such cities as New York and Columbus, Ohio, to look over their cable systems there before the deadline date of February 1st, when Pittsburgh is expected to receive the same, but he changed his mind. And gold has hit another new high today. We'll have details of this and more at 10:50 on News Watch.
This has been a TV 53 News Watch update with Mavis Logan.
All right, here's the jump ball. 3:02 to go. And it's tapped near side. And on a save try, it is out of bounds to West Virginia. Tom Wilkinson knew that that ball was last touched by Penn State. So he made a gallant effort to save it. 65-53. Diego McCoy will inbound it. Greg Jones in there. Russell Todd is in the front line for West Virginia.
You're going to see the Mountaineers are going to have to shoot that ball fairly quick. Maybe if they hit some scores, use some of their timeouts to get back in that pressure if they hit the baskets.
Greg Jones shooting over a screen by Dennis Hosey. 65-55. The lead is down to 10. Now they got Brakowski. Cut off by Collins. And back out to Wilkinson.
Now Jack, you're looking for somebody to foul out there down 10. If you're in the 3 or 4 point range, you can run it down some, but at this deep, you've got to take a foul.
Edelman fouled by Diego McCoy. That's the third one on McCoy. 65-55. The Lions had built their lead up to 17 points at 65-48, so they haven't scored in over 2 minutes. Edelman at the line. Miss. Collins with a rebound. Outlet to Greg Jones. Jones to McCoy. You can't wait too long.
Got to get it inside, take the shot.
McCoy short. Collins misses, bottles it up. Bill Collins. 65-57. And that one came right under our table. They're looking for the ball, Jay, but it's back here under our feet. Who's got the ball? Out of bounds to Penn State. Boy, that's a tough break for the home club. Mike Lang. Wilkinson. Intercepted. Now called on Hosey.
Before the pass, that was a great steal. Greg Jones slid right off his man, right into the passing lane. Would have had that basketball, Jack, but the foul was called on the drive.
65-57. The Mountaineers got a 17-point lead. Back to 8. Wilkinson at the line. First time tonight he hits. Wilkinson, 50% free throw shooter, 6 of 12 coming into this ball game. Senior from Lynbrook, New York. 2 big ones for Penn State. Hosey to Collins. And Collins fouled on the shot by Frank Bukowski, and he fouls out of the ball game. 6 field goals. Missed a free throw. Bukowski with 12 points.
All right, we'll see the replay come up. Collins is excellent position. Turn up on the hoop. Ball's alive off the basket, and a foul called inside.
Back in the ball game comes Gary Korkowski. The tactical situation, 67-57 Penn State. A minute 45 to go, and Phil Collins at the line for West Virginia. Collins with 2 shots, reaching and hitting. Collins has made 3 out of 5 at the line, 67-58. West Virginia's made a run at them here in the final minutes. Collins with a pair of them, 67-59. Pick them up at the dressing room door. Inbounds play to Edelman. Now to come to Wilkinson. He saved it. It was high. Fetter. Intercepted by Collins, but he can't control it. Great effort, and it is ruled out of bounds to West Virginia. Collins is hurt.
See a replay of that. I think Phil Collins, you're going to see him shift his feet down the far corner, Jack. Here's the long pass. Collins goes in, intercepts, and goes up off the wrong foot, coming down, out of bounds. Turning his ankle, but he kicked it back in, and the ball's out for the Mountaineers.
Boy, Collins hangs in there. 67-59. Into Collins. Collins one-handing it up again, and fouled on the play by Gary Korkowski.
You know, it's amazing, Jack, how you wait this long to get back into a basketball game. I think this is what's great about this sport. You can sit around here for 37, 38 minutes and not do anything, and some spark picks you up. Here's the ball inside to Collins. Now he's doing it all, laying right on him. He spins, goes up towards the hoop, and, of course, they foul him with the body and across the arm. He has 2 shots, and the clock is stopped.
Collins, the junior college transfer from Palos Heights, Illinois, in the Chicago southwest suburbs.
Now the momentum has changed, and will the clock and Penn State be able to hold out here?
Collins makes a pair of them, 67-61. We show a minute 26 to play in the ball game. We have a timeout with West
Virginia cutting a Penn State 17-point lead down to 6. Now the Lions led 65-48 with 4:24 to go. About 3 minutes have gone off the clock. And during that time, Penn State has converted on 2 free throws. And West Virginia has scored 13 points to cut that lead back to 6. That's quite a comeback.
Well, Jack, they've been able to do that by not using much of the clock. They've come down offensively, stuck the ball inside to Collins right now seems to be the key, and they're being pressure put on him. He's drawing the fouls, and the clock is stopping. I think Penn State now is trying to, well, take the clock with them, but they're looking at it all the time. They're not attacking where they've had some openings offensively. When the fouls have been called, they've made, but they've missed some one-on-ones also. And the Mountaineers have been able to cash in each time back down the floor offensively.
One minute and 26 seconds to play. 67-61, and the Lions are back out on the floor. They come back with Korkowski, Benner, and Lang. Their backcourt men are Wilkinson and Edelman. West Virginia with Jones, McCoy, Collins, Russell Todd, and Dennis Hosey. And again, they pick them up, man for man.
I don't think you'd want to let Penn State down 6 keep possession of the basketball very long, Jack, without putting some pressure on them. But you don't want to take an intentional foul. Double team there.
Benner makes the inbounds play. Now they got an open man. That's Edelman, and Edelman comes under, misses. Foul called. Desperation attempt by Diego McCoy as he commits his 4th foul.
Not a bad foul to take, Jack, because Penn State was trailing that, and it would have been laid back up and in. He has 2 shots, but again, with the clock stopped.
Edelman at the line, and he hits. 68-61. Sophomore, Habertown, Pennsylvania, Mike Edelman. A pair of them for Edelman. 69-61. This is Greg Jones. 69-63. West Virginia calls timeout once again. Penn State bench comes firing up. So we have a discussion in front of the scoring table as Penn State questions the timeout call. The Lions are leading 69-63. We now have 1:08 remaining to play in the ballgame.
We're going to see a replay, Jack, of Greg Jones, number 12, over in the far upper part of the screen. He gets in position, goes straight up. Excellent form on a jump shot, right straight down. And what Penn State is arguing about is they've got possession of the ball as it comes through the net, and a timeout can't be called. We don't see it on the replay, but they're saying they have possession, West Virginia cannot call timeout. But it's going in vain as the Mountaineers get credit for the timeout. They'll be able to apply pressure on down the floor. Now Gail Catlett is using those timeouts off of his offense.
Mountaineers are back in action on Saturday afternoon at the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh against Duquesne, an Eastern 8 game. And that game will be carried statewide over the Mountaineer Sports Network radio hookup live beginning at 1:30.